Hey, happy Sunday, everybody. Mark again here, Weatherman Plus. Now, we have some strong storms for today and for tomorrow, and it is going to be overnight storms you got to deal with also. It's bringing chances for tornadoes, but mostly it's bringing high damage and winds and chances for large hail. Plus, I'm going to give you an update on the latest tropical information that we do have. I'm still showing a potential hurricane coming in our direction. And these storms are brewing up later this afternoon, all night long, and then overnight all the way into the early morning hours. Then we have more for tomorrow. So let me show you all the information. You've never been here before. Make sure you subscribe. I am all year long. Just help share this information. Let others know what the truth is about these severe storms. We didn't have any tornadoes yesterday, just like I told you in the last video. It was a very low chance. But we did have 2 tornadoes on Friday in Montana, out of all places. But for yesterday, you did have those strong storms. You did have a lot of damage and wind gusts, even getting up to 70 miles per hour. And you have chances for large hail yesterday. It was some very strong storms passing through. No tornadoes. Now you can see for today, you do have the enhanced section. Now this is for hail and wind, guys. So here's your cities and states that's at effect for hail for today. And here's your chances for winds for your cities and states. And a big 30% area is where I see this going all night long and going down to the early morning hours, all the way down to this 15% to early in the morning. But you can see your tornado chance is a pretty broad area, but what I'm seeing is that it actually has a couple cells that's going through Kentucky that could do something, but most of it, I see it as a damage and wind event and large hail that's coming out of this threat. Still, better safe than sorry. Here's your cities and states at risk for the tornado threat. Now you can see the latest from HRRR. They do have some storms going all the way to about noon and 1 o'clock today. This is bringing some beneficial rain towards Ohio Valley because y'all are in a moderate, and some places is an extreme for your drought. So this would be some good rainfall. But as you go later in the evening, you do have a few cells that pops up in front over here for Kentucky that could spin up a chance for a tornado or two before it turns into a damage and wind event. That's all it's going to turn into. You do have some loose cells over here in Tennessee. I will show you what National Weather Service says. Most of this is going to be damage and winds and chances for large hail, but it's still going to be some strong storms. But as you go 10 o'clock through midnight, through the early morning hours, that goes all the way to the south, all the way until 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning. But you can see starting at 2 and 3 o'clock, you're starting to get some strong storms. Now, none of these are screaming out tornadoes, guys, but you can see you have strong storms all evening long, all the way into the early morning hours. All the way in Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, some in South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, and a little bit going through Indiana and Ohio as well. Now you can see though, once it goes 2 to 3 o'clock and on, it starts getting damage and winds out of these storms all across the board. Now it's showing chances for 70. That's over here in the Atlantic. This is all 50 and 60 miles per hour. Still strong damage and winds all evening long. All the way to 10, 11, 12, and going all the way to about 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning with some very strong winds coming in. 50 and 60 miles per hour wind gusts. So National Weather Service has put this out for Kentucky. Your main impacts will be strong to severe storms with damage and winds. Locally, heavy rainfall will be a secondary hazard. Also for Tennessee, you do see you have a small chance for flooding, but you have a better chance of hail and damage and winds for today. Very low chance of a tornado. Then tomorrow, as this energy goes over to south and southeast, you have chances for wind and hail as well. So here's your cities and states at risk for this wind, because this will be some damage and wind to the early morning hours. And there is a chance for tornadoes for tomorrow. Here's your cities and states at risk. There are some storms that pop up right in Texas, but mostly it shows Colorado, New Mexico, and over here for the panhandle of Texas. So you can see here with HRRR, as you go early in the morning, still getting those storms in the south, bringing those damage and winds. You're starting getting some more storms brew up for Colorado, New Mexico, going into Oklahoma and Kansas. And once you go towards noontime, then it starts going towards Arkansas, northern Louisiana, and it starts building up in strength. Goes into Mississippi as well, all evening long. Southern Alabama and the panhandle of Florida. Then later on, around 5 and 6 p.m., you do get some cells that pop up right here for Texas. So you got to watch out for that. I do see this as a potential chance for a tornado. So as you go later in the evening, you got them storms for today, but you can see how it brews up some good helicity values, which shows you strong updraft, chances for a strengthening cell, maybe some large hail, maybe a chance for a tornado. It does have some strong tracks going from Colorado, New Mexico, into Oklahoma a little bit. Now this is a chance for a tornado. This is your tornado area. I'm thinking it's more like chances for large hail, but don't rule out a chance for a spin up. Then as you go later in the evening, you get it going across northern Louisiana, going into Mississippi. Still pretty weak, nothing screams out a tornado, but what pops up around 6 o'clock and on for Texas does show you a good chance for a tornado or large hail or both. And as you get in those storms for today, you do have some isolated high winds coming through Texas for this afternoon, showing some chances for 50 and up to 60 miles per hour wind gusts. Then as those storms come in for tomorrow, it's not showing a whole bunch of promise, but there's some damaging winds that's coming across Louisiana and southern Mississippi. Very high winds. Please be aware of these damaging winds. This is showing a lot of potential. So Amarillo, the National Weather Service has put this out for you. Chances for hail up to 2 inches, 60 miles per hour wind gusts. Tornadoes is not likely, and there's possible flash flooding. This is going to be from 5 to 9 p.m. Then from 9 p.m. to 1, you have chances for 1 inch hail, 60 miles per hour wind gusts. Still not likely. Chances for tornadoes and possible for flash flooding. Then when you get into Monday, it's pretty much the same scenario. Chances for 1 inch hail, 60 miles per hour wind gusts. Still tornadoes is not likely. So you can see for today for Texas, you do have a chance for some strong storms. Mostly it's going to be large hail and damaging winds. But once you go Monday and Tuesday, that's where you have that chance for the isolated tornado, damaging winds, large hail, and frequent lightning. So just be aware you do have a slight chance for a tornado as you go later in the evening, but mostly it'll be for tomorrow. Also, New Mexico, you are in it for the slight risk. It is likely chance for lightning, good chance for hail, and a good chance for damaging winds. Very low chance for a tornado. Plus, as this carries over from Tuesday, you do have a slight risk, chance for severe weather. Here's your cities and states at risk. And I see there's more chances for damaging winds and for hail. So you can see as you go through today, as that storm goes towards the Tennessee-Kentucky Valley, you get a lot of lightning strikes. You get storms all the way to the southeast, all the way towards the mountains. But you see how you go later on in the evening, around 4 through 6 o'clock, you get a lot of white in those lightning strikes. That's indicative to a lot of chances for large hail, especially for Arkansas, northern Mississippi, as you go later in the evening, all the way down towards Alabama. So just be aware of that. Then as you go for tomorrow, it's going to pose right back up for Oklahoma, going in towards DFW. Chances for large hail. That is a lot of lightning strikes, guys. That's right around 11 and 12 o'clock for tomorrow. And it keeps going all evening long through Texas, through Louisiana, and through Mississippi, all the way to 5 and 6 o'clock at night. Then once you go through Tuesday, it's going to be more of the same. Chances for large hail to come out of these storms, and you got chances for damaging winds. Matter of fact, if you go overnight into Wednesday, it could ramp up again from what I can see. Chances for large hail for northeastern Texas, southern Arkansas, northern Louisiana, through Mississippi. That is a lot of lightning strikes, a lot of chances for large hail. So I think there could be an outlook for Wednesday as well, because look at all these lightning strikes for Wednesday. Chances for large hail. That is a lot. That is more than what you're dealing with now. This is your 6Z with the Euro, so this is your latest update, and it is showing as you go through Wednesday, there could be a lot of chances for large hail. And it is bringing that flooding, guys. So you see how you have it for Colorado, a little bit of western Kansas, a little bit of Oklahoma, a little bit of southwestern Nebraska. You have chances for 1 to 2 inches in that red of flooding. You have 1 to 2 inches going across Ohio Valley, intercoastal northeast. Now this is a good thing. This is clearing out all your air, plus it's helping with your drought. But once you go from eastern Oklahoma all the way through Arkansas, northern Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, even southern Tennessee, this is a widespread area, chances for flooding. Over 2 and 3 inches possibly coming. Now let's go over your latest tropical update. You can see how you got all these ocean temperatures are very warm, guys. They're in the high 80s to 90s, especially in the eastern Pacific. A big wide area of very warm temperatures. Still showing in cyclone locations that once you get around the 18th, we start getting chances for formation of low pressure to form up right over Central America. Still showing a chance to go across Cuba, come into our Gulf of Mexico, showing a favorable chance that it will stay around the gyre, guys, and keep moving to the west. But you see how much greater our chances get as we keep going along. So I'm still showing there's a lot of good chances for cyclone formation out of this first tropical wave. That next tropical wave is headed more northern, not really a big deal. So when we check the update on the ensembles, you can see as we go from the 18th and 19th, we get cyclone formation, then we get a tropical storm, then we get chances for hurricanes to build up. And it is showing up in multiple ensembles. And still showing what's the most worrisome part is this control member. The control member is your more than likely outcome. Still showing it'll go all the way by the Yucatan, then it'll start heading north. A strong storm, potential hurricane, still coming towards Florida and eastern Gulf of Mexico. And when you look at the latest information from the model data, it shows a potential system forming up right by the Yucatan, but a little something different this morning. It shows it carries all the way towards the Bay of Campeche. Then it starts getting all that lift, all that favorable environment that we have in the 20s, like I showed you, and it starts forming up something going towards the east of the Gulf, maybe into the Atlantic. Now, take this with a grain of salt. This is the GFS doing what GFS does, but it's been doing this every run for 9 days. That is a long time to be trending, guys. Still, you have to go by what's trending, and the GFS is trending all by itself. And you see the latest run. So you had the one before that, showed something going west towards the Bay of Campeche, so it's really favoring going west. Then the next run, it shows something doing the same thing, going right towards the Gulf, maybe out into the Atlantic or the East Coast. And then the latest run this morning, you can see it's still favoring going towards the Yucatan, potential tropical storm, potential hurricane, then going towards the Bay of Campeche, then going back to the east. So it's definitely too far to be sure, but I'm just giving you the latest updates on what it is showing up in the model data. Remember, this is only model data, so take this with a grain of salt. It is not trending. We need to keep our heads up just in case, because the Canadian model is still favoring all that going into the Eastern Pacific. And it's been trending with the Canadian model. It's been showing over and over that that's going into the Eastern Pacific. And the Euro don't see any of those. Eastern Pacific, anywhere. But it is showing that next wave that is coming, guys. And that next wave is doing a northern push. I don't see this being a big threat to anybody. I can see this going more northern. But as you can see, the latest update from National Hurricane Center, next 7 days, no tropical activity expected. I will keep you updated. Now, these storms really brew up real strong for the Ohio Valley for today. You can see these hail cores in them for Kentucky as well as Indiana, all the way to 1 o'clock through 4 o'clock. And you get a lot of strong cells that pop up in front before it becomes a damage and wind event for Kentucky. So if there's any tornadoes spin up today, I think it would be a better chance for Kentucky in the early afternoon. Then it becomes a damage and wind event. And you can see how that's becoming a damage and wind for Kentucky going into Ohio. Then all this is going to go further south while this goes up through the intercoastal northeast to later tonight and early morning hours. So you have some storms that's coming across the Carolinas as well. That is not going to be severe. But later on this afternoon, you have all these hail cores coming through northern Mississippi, coming all the way down through Alabama as well. And you have hail cores in those as well, as that comes all evening long, all the way to the early morning hours. But you do have some cells that do pop up around DFW around 4 and 5 o'clock today. Chances for a large hail to come out of those as well. Not a big confidence for a chance for a tornado, but that is a lot of storms coming through right there for a few hours, bringing chances for your large hail. But thank you so much for your time today. God bless you and your families. And I did see the other videos of people saying pretty much it's going to be like a tornado outbreak, and I apologize for that. There's a lot of people on the internet that just don't care about you. All they care about is views. So it's always going to be this huge event going on, and it's not really a huge event. But be aware of these damage and winds and large hail. That looks like a serious threat for today and for tomorrow. Psalm 100. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Know ye that the Lord, he is God. It is he that hath made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving, and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him, and bless his name. For the Lord is good, His mercy is everlasting, and his truth endureth to all generations. Amen. Have a great day, everybody. Have a very beautiful and best Sunday as you can. Watch out for the damaging winds and the large hail, please. The damaging winds look like it's going to be overnight, and that's pretty much what's scary for a lot of people is you can't see what's going on. So just be aware, stay inside as much as you can, and watch for any projectiles that might be in your yard. Clear up some things that you might have to move. That way it don't affect you or your neighbors. And remember, all glory always goes to God, our Father in heaven, Yahweh. And I pray He always keeps you safe every day of your life. You and your family. Amen. Hallelujah. Have a great day, everybody.